Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. The NL East race stays hot. Trevor Plouffe is getting pounded by the sun right now. Early Talkin' Baseball. Little Roberto Clemente day. We're rolling in to the end of this 2022 season. My name is Jake Stromboli. I'm joined by Trevor Plouffe, big baby David Mendelson on the wheels of steel. Trev, we're doing an early episode. I will give you love off the rip. We had a fantastic phone call yesterday. The silly vibes were on high. Good times. I am obviously off to a wedding this weekend because it's a weekend, and that's just my life. I have another one next weekend. My life is hell. So I cope with baseball, like a lot of you guys probably listening to the show do. And Trevor Plouffe woke up early, was at the chair, ready to go, 6:50 a.m. left coast time, and the funny caveat to that is he's out in his recording studio and the sun is just beating down on his face. It's a day game in Minnesota, Trev. How you doing, dude?
We were searching for the right lighting because, as you know, I usually just use natural lighting. It's beautiful out here. But when you get out here a little early, before the sun has its time to, stretch and yawn and have its cup of coffee, it's a little dark. So we figured it out, though, and I'm happy to be here early in the morning. I love talking baseball. We got freaking the stimulator. It's going to start my Friday off right. I love that you're just like, do people hire you for weddings or do you actually get invited? Because what the fuck, dude? Too many weddings.
I don't know anymore, man. This is a family wedding, so it's very nice. I'll be excited to see my family. I'll get to spend some time with my nephew, Emmett, who's kind of the only hope. When you write the Lord of the Rings version of John Boy Media, like my nephew Emmett is currently the only hope to fight off baby James from firing me. So we'll see what goes on there. So family wedding this week, and then it's one of Jess's next week, and I'm excited. They're good people. I know them. I'll be a little on the island out there. It's in Pennsylvania, and like Judge is going to be chasing the home run record. So I'm going to be all 6s and 7s next weekend. But enough about me. How are you doing, Trev? I mean, I guess big picture, small picture. I know, summer's gone and past. The Central, the AL Mid, again, is a topic. Couple teams, Guardians sweep your Twins, stay alive more or less for what could be a big 5 games this weekend. I don't know. But how are you doing?
I'm doing great, dude. I love that we're coming down to it. Jimmy did pronounce the Twins dead. They get a sweep. They're hanging in there 4 games back right now. The White Sox clipped the Guardians last night, so they're down to 3. It's one of only 3 races that really mean anything. It's the back end of the NL wild card that we're looking at. It is the AL wild card seedings, essentially. And then it's this one, the division race. Guardians have the leg up for sure, but it'll be fun this weekend. Obviously, will be good against the Twins, and then as we come down to it, this is baseball. And now you're starting to see the sun moving amongst the trees, wrestling with the branches so it can come blind me. But I played through it. I'm different, Jake.
I don't, if you listen on podcasts, wherever you listen to Talking Baseball, we appreciate you. I enthuse you to go check out the YouTube today because you need the flip shades.
You called me Gandalf the White, and I loved it. Now I'm never gonna not want to be Gandalf the White.
Did you ever wear the flip up shades at third, the up downs?
And of course not, dude.
No.
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. I feel like those were.
I think you played at a time where those were pretty common.
A couple guys who I respect
wore those.
J.J. Hardy wore them.
Wow.
Jamie Carroll, I believe, wore them. Jamie Carroll hated. He didn't want any extra help. It was like, I don't even want batting gloves. I don't want sunglasses. I'm a freaking ball player.
One of the kids.
You know what? You and Jamie Carroll are like,
yeah,
not the same at all because he's a grinder.
Honestly, on the 8, did Swisher
Invite him to Blitzball.
Pop those on.
Let's get Jamie Carroll would be perfect for team baggage. That's what one of these kids needs to do. One of these hot boy kids, maybe Joe Ryan. You might hear about him later in the episode. A set of flip shades, bring him back. Trev, let's get into the baseball, the series this week, and a couple of the big topics. And it's all brought to you by Manscaped. You know what all the kids are doing in the show now? They're taking care of their downstairs.
Yeah, Joe Ryan does.
Yes. I mean, he's well maintained up there. What do you think he's doing down there? And that's because Fresh Ball Fall is here, Trev. Pumpkin spice and making your crotch look nice. Man, these Manscaped guys, they get it. There's a reason they're with us. And what they're doing with their Platinum Package 4.0, you are getting 10 different parts. You're getting the Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer, weed whacker, nose and ear, 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner because we're dudes. Aluminum-free ultra premium deodorant. Yep. Man, crop reviver. I mean, you're getting everything you'll ever need, including boxers. Really comfy boxers.
I'm wearing them right now.
BBD's wearing them right now. Trev is looking to see if he's wearing them. He's coming up, and he's wearing them right now. Yep. Now I really need you to look at the YouTube for this episode. I packed mine for wedding weekend, so I'm stoked on that. Go to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free shipping with the code Talkin. It's Talkin Baseball. Code Talkin. Manscaped. Again, if you're not, you're either ready for Fresh Ball Fall or you're not. And if you're not, use code Talkin at manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping for their Platinum Package 4.0.
Hey, what's the word autumn mean?
Okay, here we go.
Because fuck it, I never knew what it really meant. Fresh Ball Fall is just better.
Yeah.
Better.
Are autumn and fall different? Are they two things that mean the same thing?
Doesn't make any sense.
I believe they're the same thing.
Autumn and fall difference in Google. Used interchangeably.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's weird how that works.
There's some graphics and stuff that are like it's slightly different.
Is autumn the transition into fall?
Oh, no, what it is? I think autumn.
Fall is just kind of what we all started calling it.
Autumn was British, and I think America was like,
yeah, we're over that.
Leaves are falling. It's fall.
It's fall. Okay.
I think it stems from the Latin word for gold.
I'm paying my tithe to you, you Brits. Out of here.
Our guys, we got ice in the chat saying Trev is literally glowing.
I feel like that right now.
National League Baseball. Dodgers are clinching and celebrating every time we look at them. The NL East with their first kind of tough week in a while, but it happens at the same time. Should we hear about the National League?
Yeah, why don't you shut up and let me read it, bro?
Okay, Beebs, hit it.
My people, we're starting out with Jake Snakes versus the Dodgers. And as Jake said, the Dodgers were clinching all weekend. They had a handshake toast. They had a champagne toast. And before you know it, they were spraying everybody with bottles of champagne. They do clinch the NL West. They take 2 of 3 from the D-backs. 6-0, 4-0, but the D-backs came back and won that last game 5-3. Anderson 7 shutty in the first game. Kershaw 7 shutty in the second game. Like I said, D-backs shut out for the first 2 games, and then they walked the Dodgers off in Game 3. Sergio Alcantara 3-run Jimmy Jack off Kimbrel down 1 with 2 outs in the 10th. Jake Snakes doing it. Look out or they'll bite you. All right? Doesn't matter. Dodgers clinched. Did they go in the pool this time? That's all I want to know. I didn't see any pool clips. Moving on. Cubs go into Flushing. And they sweep the Mets.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
5-2 Cubs. 4-1 Cubs. 6-3 Cubs. No offense allowed for the Mets this series. Bassett gives up 5 earned runs in 3 2/3. Ortega, McKinstry, 2 hits with a homer each. Sampson outduels DeGrom. Happer goes way back against DeGrom. He's making sliding catches. Nine-figure Ian, my guy. I owe you wine. I understand that. The Cubs sweep the Mets. My goodness, Mets. That's like a pretty big what is you doing, baby, because the Braves are sniffing it. But guess what? They go to San Francisco. They only gave one game because the Giants take 2 out of 3. 3-2 Giants for the Braves, won 5-1, and the Giants win the last game 4-1. Alex Cobb has been lights out since like July 19th. He goes 7 shutty here. Swanson in the game 2 had the go-ahead 2-run homer in the third. Braves never looked back. And then in game 3, Rodon did his damn thing. 5 innings pitched, 1 run. I already saw a stat. He's got career highs in innings and strikeouts. He's doing his dang thing. Attaboy, Carlos. Giants take 2 out of 3. Moving on, Phillies, they're doing their thing. They take 2 of 3 from the Marlins. 2-1 Phillies, 6-1 Phillies before the Marlins take game 3. They beat Alcantara in game 1 because Nick Baton had the go-ahead 2-run homer in the 7th. That's his second homer against Sandy. Nick, you're a stud. Game 2, Gibby goes 6 innings pitched with 1 earned run. Harper and Real Muto go back-to-back to tie and take the lead in the 6th. The best catcher in baseball, maybe the second best catcher in baseball because Will Smith exists. He homered again in the 7th. And then Pablo did his thing in the last game. Moving on, Brewers and Cardinals. This was a fun series. They do split a 2-gamer. Usually we don't talk about these things, but the Brewers won game 1 on a bullpen day, 8-4. The Cardinals won the Wayno-Yadi game 4-1 to split the series. I'm sure we'll get into that. Wayno versus Burns. 325 for Yadi and Wayno. What a freaking moment. That stadium was packed too. I love seeing that. They split the series. And then I believe the last one we're talking about, Pirates, 4-game sweep with the Reds. Let's go Pirates, 6-3 Pirates, 6-1 Pirates, 1-0 Pirates, 10-4 Pirates. The Reds, that's not a lot of offense. Where's Malibu Mike at? I think he's in Malibu. And that, my friends, is what happened in the National League.
Trevor Plouffe, undefeated. That's how you stay. In the National League, the Mets are 1 game up on the Atlanta Braves. They are tied in the loss column. A lot of people look at that this late in the season. The Mets have 90 wins, though. The Braves have 88, and they both have 55 losses. Are we coming up on that Mets-Braves series? That in a week or so? Because that is going to be the first playoff series of the year. The Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know if we give them enough love. I feel like when we give them love, we give them proper love. They are 80-63. And, with some of the disappointing teams around baseball, they're going to get to probably 20 games above 500. Good for the fighting Phillies. The St. Louis Cardinals, 84-60, a 7.5-game lead over Milwaukee, who's still outside looking in on the wild card. Like Trev mentioned, the Dodgers are celebrating only because they're 98-44. That would be a 21-game lead on the Padres. They literally cannot catch them. I was going to make a joke about that, but that's the whole point of them clinching. And the San Diego Fathers, they are your last team in the wild card, the best dance in the National League. Well, besides the NL East, but both those teams are going to get in. And Milwaukee is technically a game and a half back, 1 back in the loss column to the Padres. So the Padres and Milwaukee is very much becoming a conversation. I don't think either of those teams are necessarily exuding the confidence you'd love to see going into this final stretch. With the Phillies, 2.5 over San Diego. So, in the National League, Trev, I know you're a Cron Pod guy, and I guess we're anointing the Dodgers, or are we talking mostly Diamondbacks?
Dude, Corbin Carroll?
Let's go.
What's the other guy's name? Is it James McCarthy?
They keep going.
That's not right. That's Jake McCarthy's his name. Yeah.
Get that right. And they called up another kid last night. They're having fun. Dre Jameson.
Colton Varsho hitting fucking homers. Do we have to talk about the Dodgers at all? Seriously, all these dudes do is drink champagne. What is going on in LA? Is there a problem? Sound off in the comments. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
A night after they do the champagne toast because they Well, no, I think it was 2 nights. They champagne toasted because they believe they clinched a playoff spot. Then MLB said, actually, there's some tiebreaker scenarios.
Well, actually, Dodgers.
So then the next night I think they had the official, we made the playoffs. And then the final night, I don't know what happened. They clinched the division.
Yeah.
Some good games, some good outings for some Dodgers pitchers. It looked like it was going to be a sweep. And then our boy Alcantara goes and hits the go-ahead homer, or the walk-off homer, against Kimbrel for the Diamondbacks to do it. I don't know, man. What else can we say about the Dodgers besides fucking 98 wins already? I mean, they're just they're a juggernaut. They're an absolute juggernaut. I mean, Belly has, he had a big hit in this series, and he got called out by Jerry Harrison Jr. 2 weeks ago to change some things in his swing. It's been an interesting time for him this year, but when this team is right, I mean, there isn't a better team in baseball.
Belly says, "Shut up, Jerry Harrison Jr. I got an MVP.
I think he might have. I don't know.
I got an MVP trophy in the bag." True story. At this year's All-Star game, bought Jerry Harrison a drink. It was me and Joe's at some LA place that had just cleared out. Yeah, nice guy. Kind of gave him a look like, I don't know. Let's compare bank accounts. It was a vodka soda. He'll get me back. Dodgers have won the National League West every year since 2013, except last year when the Giants got them with 108 and beat them by what, 1 game? So
it was 107, Dodgers 106.
Excuse me, Dodgers 106. As a sports franchise, Trev, you live out there. We do our fake and serious East Coast bias because sometimes you don't know. I mean, a lot of people view the Dodgers as, kind of hated in the same ilk as the Yankees. It's LA. There's a lot of money. I mean, especially recent transactions. If you're my Diamondbacks, and we talk about it a lot on this show, you added Freddie, you added Mookie, you added Trey. Guys in their respective ways who have arguments to be some of the best players in baseball. What they're doing as a franchise in general, money aside, to be this good for that long is crazy. It makes sense because they have one of the best player developments. They have some of the best coaches. And when you have the payroll to add those guys we just mentioned, it's dominant, man. And I mean, since the All-Star break, I think they've even kicked it into gear even more. I'm trying to get some of their splits. Let's see. In the second half, they are winning at a 7:31 clip, 38-14. They turned it on and they didn't even really have to because they were 60-30 in the first. And so they take care of my Snakes. Obviously, we win the last game because we're tough. And there's a lot of young, fun kids on the Diamondbacks. I'm not blowing smoke. Go check out these dudes. Trevor's got some of their cards, I bet, because there's some value there. But Clayton, I think we're going to hear about him in a little bit. This team is it's dominant. It's the most dominant team in baseball.
And now I'm trying to see. Can they cruise into the 1 or 2 seed? I think they can. They're 10 games above the Braves, who would have the third
they're the
third best record, and they're 8 games ahead of the Mets, who have the second best record. So they are cruising into that essentially. So it'll be interesting to see how they treat the next few weeks. Are they going to go balls out, Manscaped, until they clinch the 1 seed? Is that what their plan is? Then after that, we'll start to rest guys. I'm curious to see how they do it. And that's like a luxury that teams like the Dodgers have at the end of the year. When you build up this type of lead, it's like, okay, now legit their entire focus is on the postseason. As soon as they clinch one of those 2 spots, their entire focus changes to the postseason. How can we get our team ready for this? What are we going to do with our rotation? Are we going to skip a start? Are we going to address it, our rotation, and put one of those guys in the bullpen just to get him ready for that role that he's going to have in the postseason? Are we just working on straightening on getting our guys healthy for it? A lot of off days, a lot of rest days. I think, they're used to this. This is what they do, man.
And by the way, something this is our first year with this playoff format. We're feeling it out and we're learning. And we talked about this a little bit in the midweek episode. The way the seeding kind of currently works out, and maybe this year is the outlier, because again, this is the first year, but with the Central teams compared to the top wildcard team. In the National League, the Mets or the Braves is going to be the first wildcard team. And I think they are better than St. Louis. I guess there's a good conversation there. I mean, St. Louis is a good team. But the Mets and Braves, the Mets won the offseason and have been so good all year. The Braves won it all last year. They had a great offseason. They are back compared to St. Louis, who's, had a really nice year, and they've taken control of the Central. Where in the American League, the Guardians, the AL mid, as we like to joke about lovingly, and the 6th seed, we'll see who gets sorted out there. Right now, on both sides of the bracket, the 2 seed in the postseason looks like the preferred seed. I don't know how.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
That is soft talk. I saw you guys talk about the Yankees. I think even our guy Max put a tweet out talking about you're nice and cozy in the second spot. I don't want to hear that shit, dude. I don't. You're not lining yourself up because, this team looks easier than this team. Bullshit. The Cardinals are fucking good, dude.
Right.
And the Guardians will fucking sting you, and I hope they do for that attitude that you're putting out there right now. I do not like that.
Let's get the Guardians into the dance.
If this was a clubhouse,
all right.
Not talking about shit like that.
When you just hammered the table for your mic, the audio switched. So I don't know if you unplugged something, but that's how.
I'm back now, I think.
What was that?
I don't know. That's how mad I am. My computer's pissed too.
Are you Gandalf?
Not anymore. The sun is passed.
And
it was not a red sun, okay? So we're good.
Make sure you look at
Let's move on. The Dodgers are good. That's all we should have said was the Dodgers are good. Move on.
Right? Like I genuinely, and I don't think the Talking Baseball people want this, I'd rather deep dive in some of the Diamondbacks, young, cool guys, because we already know Freeman, Muncy, Kershaw, all those guys. Like, good job, the Dodgers. You're a great franchise.
Okay. Mets get swept by the Cubs. Bassett gets touched up a little bit. 5 earned runs. Rafael Ortega and Zach McKinstry.
Yeah.
Now, I know McKinstry was with the Dodgers. Ortega, I don't know where he's from. 2 hits with a homer apiece. Great job in the first game. You get 1. Good job. 5-2. And then you get the second one. This was against DeGrom. And you get Happ with the homer. Patrick Wisdom had a first and third safety squeeze. Like they were pulling out all the stops to go up 3-0. Then it was perfectly executed. So the Cubs are playing a fun brand of baseball. Sampson, 6 shutout innings. And after the game, he was saying, everyone expects DeGrom to win. So there's no pressure on me. I just went out there and pitched. I think it was his first time at Citi Field. They still call it Citi Field?
Yeah.
Okay. First time at Citi Field. Has a great start. Cubs win game 2 against DeGrom. And now we're like, uh-oh. They come back the next day. Smiley goes 5 innings pitched with 1 earned run. Peterson gets touched up. They score a bunch of runs in the first 6, in fact, including Gomes and Higgins 2-run doubles. And all of a sudden, Mets get a what is you doing, baby? They get swept by the Cubs. Like I said, lucky for them. We'll talk about, the Braves losing 2 out of 3 to the Giants, but this is not where you want to be if you're the Mets.
A sneaky John Boy Media Bowl here. I mean, Shea Station, our Mets show, and the Compound with Ian Happ. I had to fill in because his co-host dropped out, so go check that out. Me and Ian Happ letting it ride. And, man, it was really such hell for Ian Happ to come into the office the day after he clipped DeGrom. Getting all those, hey, nice homer off the best pitcher all time. Like, that's...
Hey, that was a mush, too. That was no, like...
The city.
No wall scraper.
No, he got him. He got him. And then the next day I asked him to hit a homer for me. He didn't start, and then he pinch hit and flew out. Me and Ian Happ are kind of on the rocks a little bit. And I gave him some love in the Compound because I wasn't trying to suck ass to him. The couple times I've turned on Cubs games in the second half of the season, they are playing some inspired baseball, and they are actually over 500 in the second half. And I gave a shout out to his Cubs and Papa Rossi because we've seen that. Remember, there was that young, sexy manager phase where it was, like, kind of hire the young guy, cool guy, friendly guy that was recently out of baseball. We've seen that switch, right? We see the Dusty Bakers. Joe Madden we don't talk about anymore, but Tony La Russa. So the Cubs, I know this time of year we're not talking a lot of Cubbies. They deserve a little respect. They could have hung their heads and put up a really ugly season this year, and they've battled this second half, and hopefully that means something for them next year. And meanwhile, for the Mets, they slip up a little bit, and they've been slipping up a little bit, and they're lucky that the Braves didn't have a special weekend because that would have easily been the first thing we'd be talking about. But the Braves are still behind them, and it feels like it's all leading up to that Mets-Braves series that's happening. Let me bring it up. We're still a little over a week and a half away.
The Mets and Braves is September 30th, October 1st, October 2nd.
Yeah.
This was the little run that the Mets were supposed to go and just wax all these, dude. You have Washington, Pittsburgh, Miami, Chicago, and then Pittsburgh again. We played 13 of those games. There's another 3 left. So we'll have a 16-game stretch right here against some very subpar teams. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
So far in those 13 games that they played, they're 6-7. You don't want to be treading water against these teams when you have the Braves coming up behind you, and they've done just that. I think they're 7-7 overall in September. After this, they go to Milwaukee, they go to Oakland, and then 2 in Miami before they get to that Atlanta series. So there's plenty of time for the Mets to get it going, I guess. I mean, maybe not plenty of time. Maybe there needs to be a sense of urgency here. But again, not where you want to be in this run of games that you're supposed to take care of business on.
And yeah, I know you were talking about my Story Ellie soft loser talk about the postseason picture. If you're the Mets or the Braves, would you rather be sitting there watching the wild card and waiting to see who comes to visit you for your 5-game set? Or would you rather have to play the wild card games, and if you win, you're heading off to L.A. to face the Dodgers as the 1 seed? So the Mets Braves down the stretch are going to get intense. One team is going to be hurt and down bad because both these teams think they're winning this division. And I think in 2 weeks, get ready for your first playoff series, end of September. And Trev, I think that brings us to the Braves and the Giants. Gabe Kapler bullying his pitchers. You can talk to me like that? Well, why don't you meet me? Why don't we get outside of the cameras and really talk? And they take 2 out of 3 from the Braves.
They do. Cobb versus Strider sounds like an old Western right there.
Ooh.
But look, Cobb outduels him. Like I said in the recap, he's been really good since coming off the IL middle of July. He's got like a low 2 ERA. He goes 7 shutty here, looking really good. He outduels Strider, who goes 5 innings pitched with 2 earned runs. Your guy, Estrada, 3 hits with an infield single that scored a run on an error. I believe that was a Von Grissom error. Could be wrong about that. But the Giants take care of business, man. In the second game, Junis gets touched up a little bit. Wait, where am I looking at here? Braves win the second game, and then Rodon, has a great start in the last game to get the series win. I don't necessarily fault the Braves for losing 2 out of 3 because you did get a couple good pitching performances here. And, I think the Giants still have a little dog in them, especially when they get those good starts. They have a decent back of the bullpen. They still got some guys that can swing it a little bit. I think you want to win this series as you watching the Mets get swept by the Cubs, but sometimes this just happens. A couple starters come out and get you here. It's basically what happened in this series.
Rodon was one of my midweek guys. His ERA is sitting just under 3 now. I think he wants that 2 ERA heading back into free agency. Your boy Robbie Grossman in Atlanta, huge week, doing the thing for them, which Tiger fans sound off in the comments, but a trade acquisition outfielder for Atlanta, putting up numbers. We've seen that before, along with Money Mike, man. Every time I feel like I go on Twitter, Michael Harris too.
Got a good swing, dude. He's got really, really good swing.
Sheesh. Text Gabe. Get us some good Giants gossip.
I want to hear what happened. What'd you tell? Was it Littell?
Littell, yeah. Big boy.
He is a big boy.
But Gabe wasn't afraid. I'll tell you
but
that
guess
much.
what? He got his ass sent to the bushes.
Yeah.
Big boy or not. I mean, I don't even know if they came out afterwards and had any quotes on that, but man, it didn't look good. I think Gabe handled it very well, but you kind of knew something was about to go down. He gets sent down. That sucks. You think you're going to ride off into the sunset in the show, 2 more weeks, blah, blah, blah. No, sorry, you're going back. Where is their AAA team? Sacramento?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Nice city.
Yeah.
Nice city.
Get some Kings
Max
games
had some notes here on Swanson.
Mm.
We love talking about Dansby because he's a good-looking dude. Hates us. Doesn't hate us, just doesn't care about us.
Right.
We're not cool enough.
Doesn't care about me. Vandy guy.
Yeah, maybe me. Maybe he likes me. Maybe he's got a little
He'd
respect
like
for me,
you.
but barely. He's like just this much respect.
He'd respect you a little bit. Doesn't
He'd be
have
nice
time
to
for me.
you.
What's he got in Dansby?
41 RBI with 2 outs. They're tied for the 4th most in the majors. And then Dansby says, I'm still trying to figure out why I can't do that when it's not 2 outs. Fair. It's a fair question for yourself, Dansby. But he says he doesn't know how to explain it. He feels things get a little slower, like he breathes a little better and sees things a bit clearer. Now, this is going to sound stupid to most people, but it's the truth. There are certain situations where this just happens, okay? Dansby at the beginning of the year wasn't breathing slower or seeing the ball clearer on those 2-out RBI. But as you start to get some success in a certain situation, now you get more confidence in that situation. Now, all of a sudden, oh, yeah, of course, I'm seeing the ball better. My heart rate is slower. My breathing is slower. Bullshit. It's just your mind knows you do well in those situations, and then that's the snowball effect right there. So I love this for Dansby. I think that's awesome. He's having a great year heading into free agency, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, the mental aspect of the game that's too obvious to even talk about, but if Dansby's a guy who's having a good year with 2 outs, and he's facing a relief pitcher that maybe had a couple incidents. He's on the mound thinking about it. He's in the box thinking about it, and that's baseball. Who do the Braves are going on to face the Phillies? They're hosting the Phillies, and then they're playing the Nationals, and then they're going to Philly. So,
And you see what they did in the last 20 minutes here?
who?
They activated Ozzy Albies.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Okay.
Assin.
What are they going to do? Okay, so
Figure it out.
Play the
I
good
mean,
players.
they got a lot of
Let
options
it
there. I
happen.
mean, their infield is set. Von Grissom, he's been playing everywhere. We'll see what they do. Is it Von Grissom, Money Mike, and Acuna in the outfield?
They were trying Vaughn out in left field, but like I said, Robbie Grossman is now
You
hot.
do Robbie, he's going off.
Eddie Rosario's just chilling. So, yeah, the Braves will be fine. The Braves will be fine. Phillies-Marlins, what do you have from here? I know you shout out Maton. I know you love the Phillies.
Yeah, no, this was a great series for the Phillies. They've been playing crazy ball. And, like, I remember Rob Thompson taking over. We didn't think there was a chance. Harper gets hurt. All this stuff goes on. They have just been absolutely killing it. And Max put a nice little stat in here for us. They've gone streaking a lot this year. They had a 9-game win streak, a 5-game win streak, another 5er, a 7, a 6, and a 5er now that just ended. They can get hot. And I don't know if that's because they're kind of just an offensive team and they have some good starting pitching. So when those things match up, they get on those streaks. I'd assume that's what it is. But this is a team that has to scare you. When you see streaky teams going into the playoffs, get on a hot streak. Like, if you know how to do that, if you know how to go on those streaks, that pays dividends in the postseason. It really does, man. So got to watch out for them. This was a great series. I mentioned in game 1, Alcantara's doing his damn thing. 7 innings pitched. Then he gets clipped in the 7th for a go-ahead 2-run shot by Maton. And that was it. Phillies win 2-1. That's got to feel good to get that victory. And I feel like the next one, Gibby comes out, does his thing. We get some offense from Harper or Realmuto. I understand that. That's great. That seemed like an easy victory for them. And then Lopez does his thing. Syndergaard gets touched up a little bit. There was a homer by Jordan Groshans, his first career homer in the third. He kind of mushed that ball, pulled it down the left field line. I think there was a 3-run homer after that. So Syndergaard got bombed a little bit, but they take the series. And right now, as we mentioned, they are 2.5 games up on the Padres and 4 games up on Milwaukee in the second wild card spot.
Bryce, go watch his home run. I know you've seen a lot of them. When he shows off his easy power, it's one of those things that you just say, wow, that is so different than everyone else. He's kind of got that Ohtani. Like, it looks like he kind of doesn't catch a ball great, and then you're like, oh, that was 435. Awesome, dude. Realmuto, I know we've shouted him out on all JM team. From where he was in this first half to where he is now, he went back-to-back with Harper. And, yeah, that Groshans highlight, kid gets his first home run, family in the crowd freaking out, his brother's running around like an absolute Looney Tune. So, happy for them. Enjoy it. Why not, right? I think that's kind of all from this series.
Reeser did get hit on the hand. I saw that. We'll see. He sat the third game. We'll see what happens there. I think he's going to be okay, though. I think the X-rays came back negative. He's going to be okay.
By the way, JT Realmuto, 5.5 WAR on the season, 815 OPS. He's back to being a guy.
It's him versus Will Smith, man.
Damn.
Those are the two catchers right now. Will Smith is a stud.
Yeah.
JT Realmuto's a stud. Great body, too.
Great
One of those
body.
bodies, you're like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Stop it with that.
989 OPS in the second half. 312, 385. JT. How about it, kid? Fantastic. Brewers-Cardinals, they split a 2-gamer, right?
Yep, 8-4 Brewers in the first game. It was a bullpen game for the Brewers. Suter, after the game, was talking about how they haven't had one in a long time. So that's a good thing for the Brew Crew. We know they have starting pitching, but they win the first one 8-4. Montgomery kind of got touched up in this one for the Cardinals. McCutcheon had a 2-run homer in the fifth. Adames had some knocks there. He almost took Montgomery's head off with a line drive up the middle. They're wearing those City Connect jerseys, the Brewers were. They got some funky jerseys, man.
Yeah.
All sorts of shades of blue to go along with their yellow. They look good in that one. So they pick up a game on the Cardinals. Doesn't matter. The division's gone already. It's only wild card for the Brew Crew. And then the second game is the kind of the game that everyone was looking forward to. Yadier, Molina, Adam Wainwright go ahead and have their 325th game matching up together as a battery. It sets the all-time mark. What else are you going to say, man? These two are absolutely incredible together. They get the win here, and it was a tough one. Waino had base runners on all over the place, had to escape some jams. At one point, I said this yesterday on Baseball Today, it looked like the Brewers were trying to help the narrative here. I swear. Like, there was a strike him out, throw him out where Wong got thrown out by like 10 feet, bro.
Yeah. On a curveball. Like, it was too much almost. You're right.
I was like, what is going on here? I think Yelich like took the first pitch to give Waino a strike so he can get applause. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here, guys? Like, I need you to play ball.
Trev, thank you, because I watched those two exact plays. Yelich is leading off, takes a heater right down the middle. Everyone claps. They toss the ball to the dugout. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate this to a degree, right? Like,
Waino called it classy.
It would suck if, Yelly turns on that pitch and that ball's in the stands. I get it.
Why?
But there should have been an understanding that, like, hey, Yelly, if you're going to give us that first one, like, I'm going to bounce the second one, 1-1 count, let's start the game. No. Next pitch was strike 2. Yelly got punched out on 3 pitches. Like, we can't be doing that. The Brewers, these games mean too much.
We need it, bro.
And then the strike him out, throw him out play. I mean, Waino throws that 74-mile-per-hour curveball. And Yachty, boom, it's on the bag. Wong's out by 4 feet, and you're like, okay, I know I've seen this a lot, and it's poetic and it's artistic, but also like kind of shouldn't be that easy at this point. But hey, there's also a reason that those guys have been out there for 325 of these together.
And Corbin pitched really good for the Brew Crew. I mean, he gave up the homer to Arenado early on. I think it was in the second inning, and then Molina had a go-ahead RBI in the go-ahead RBI in the second inning. Pujols had one at the end. It was kind of like an old-timers day, if you will, at the park. But I can't be mad at the Cardinals for doing what they're doing. This is what they do, and this stat right here. This stat is up. I'm gonna curse right now, okay? This stat is fucking absurd.
Okay.
Derek Gould, that's 2 O's, not gold, it's Gould. On Twitter, he wrote out, he's working on some projects for whatever St. Louis today that will drop in the weeks to come, and updated research Elias once did. As of Sunday, the Cardinals have played 2,900 games since Yadier Molina made his debut in 2004. 2,900 games. They've been out of playoff contention in 24 of those games. 24 games since 2004 have the Cardinals been out of playoff contention. We talk about consistency and the fucking Cardinal way. It's Yachty and Waino, dude. They have constructed the Cardinal way. They are the Cardinal way. The way they go about their business, that's why they're consistent. Sure. Do you have to have good players? Of course. But having those guys in your clubhouse creates an atmosphere where that can fucking happen. I want people to hear this again. 2,900 games, and they've been out of playoff contention in 24.
It's silly. It's silly. It's, I know we've talked about it on and off of this, and, Jack Flaherty, our guy, is kind of like, king of cool. Like, he's an LA guy. He's tough. He loves the Joker stuff. In a way he's not St. Louis, but at the same time he is, because he's businesslike and he does his thing. And you know what? If you're gonna do that, and be cool guy Jack Flaherty, well, you better bring it when you're on the field, and he always does, because it's not an option in St. Louis, because of the tone that those other guys have set throughout. So pretty unreal.
He always talks about drawing from them. And I think that's really special. I mean, you're lucky if you're a player and you get to come up in the Cardinals organization and learn from those two guys. I know it's coming to an end, but I'm sure they'll be around the organization. Ask questions, please. These guys know what they're doing.
And people, you're a baseball fan, we're baseball fans. Guess what? Whichever one of these kids from the Cardinals ends up being a 10-year stud, in 10 years we're going to be talking about Waino and Molina and how they affected, whether it's a Nolan Gorman or whether it's a, Tommy Edman is still picking it at every position and the next Jamie Carroll playing, a full season at shortstop at age 38 or some shit. Shout out. Big Jamie Carroll pod today.
Big Jamie Carroll pod today. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Let me get this up.
Okay.
Right now, position player war. Top 5, according to Baseball Reference, has 3 Cardinals, Tommy Edman being one of them. The other 2, Arenado and Goldschmidt. Tommy Edman sitting with a 6-2 B war.
The glue. Your Pirates took all 4 from the Cincinnati Reds. What did you see? I know you watched these.
Every dang thing. The Pirates took the lead with 5 in the 5th. Castro with the go-ahead 3-run homer. That was in game 1. The second game, Hayes, Reynolds, and Cal Mitchell all hit home runs. Brian Reynolds, I looked at his numbers, sitting right on 790 OPS right now. So he's just kind of doing his damn thing. Fernando Cruz was the opener in game 3, 1 2/3 shutout innings. Newman, our Kevin Newman, go ahead RBI single in the 7th. And then in the last game, Rodolfo Castro doing it again. Go ahead,
Hot.
3-run homer in the 3rd.
Hot.
He said we worked so hard to be able to cherish it now and enjoy it. It's beautiful. I think the mindset is to continue to work hard and continue to enjoy this later. I like that.
Where are those
Wait till after the season to pat yourself on the back, bro. Continue to put your head down and work hard. That is let me tell you guys something. That's the secret to life.
Wow.
Don't be celebrating early. Put your head down, go to work. What's the saying? What do they say? Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to keep going because I have an 8:30 baseball today to do. We go live.
Got to get to Dean's wedding.
So we got to go.
Let's do the American League, Trev, a beautiful National League. I might even mix in that aisle like we've been doing. Yeah. In the American League, we will start out with the AL Central leading Guardians who sweep the Angels. They take care of their business. There's a fun breakdown from this series as Francona and Nevin both get the hook back to back. I mean, what a display of Ron Culpa by none other than Ron Culpa. One of the highlights from this week in baseball. Along with the Guardians getting this sweep, Trev's guy, Oscar Gonzalez, violent with the stick, and he does it again. Go ahead shot in that second game. And per always, they finish it off. Cal Quantrill putting together a really nice year. 7 innings, 3 earned runs. It was Ramirez, Dark Knight reference. 2-run homer in the 8th. Guardians, they take care of their business. Speaking of division leaders taking care of their business, I mean, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Astros sweep the Tigers. Framber, light work for him. How's your CGSO? Shutty for Framber. Hunter Brown keeps showing off what a freak show he is. Wouldn't be surprised if he's in some big moments this postseason. And then they sweep it as Christian Javier mows them down. Verlander returning tonight in Oakland. Get ready for that. Kyle Tucker / Abe Lincoln with his 27th homer and his 26th the day before that. Houston rolls over a bad team. There's your headline. Yankees and Red Sox, they play too. The rivalry is back. Yankees take both games. I mean, the Sox season is somewhat, it kind of is over. Yankees win in 10 that first night. Garrett Cole, Fenway, still a little bit of a house of horrors for him as he gives up a bunch of deep balls. Gleyber Torres with that huge bases clearing double in the 10th. And oh, by the way, Aaron Judge hit 56 and 57 in this game. Both game-tying homers as well. Nestor does his thing. Sox play some ugly defense as the Yankees take both of those games. The Rays and the Jays were playing 5. One of those, can someone really set the tone the rest of the way? Toronto ends up taking 3 out of 5. They won 3 of the first 4, but Shane McClanahan, he comes back. Common Shane McClanahan success. Shout out my guy Foolish. As Rays win 11-0 in that final game. Good on Toronto, as these two teams are now fighting for the wild card. So they take the 3 out of 5. Barrios shoves. Manoah on Twitter defending short, thick Kings everywhere. Stand strong. I stand with Alejandro Kirk, as I am from the same cloth. We'll talk about that series. Twins. Trev's Twins on life support. The Zombie Twins, they sweep the Royals. They'll stay around for their 5 games this weekend against the division-leading Guardians. But they take care of their work. Joe Ryan, you might hear something about him in a little bit. And by the way, Carlos Correa, the bad man, he is going nut job. Feels like he's hitting a home run every at-bat. And that means also Trev's guy, Nick Gordon, hits one in that final game. Twins staying on life support. A's and Rangers, they split 2 8-7 games. Each team gets a dub. That's exciting. How about Mark Mathias? Home run. Also, with the walk-off homer, it's his second of the game. Good for you, kid. And then the machine, it's a game-tying RBI double for the A's. I don't know. Those two teams are playing for next year. Simeon going nuts, fighting for all JM team. In the interleague, Orioles and Nats. Orioles win both games. Are they on life support? I don't know. Oh, Jake, you didn't time it right because you tried to mix in the IL. Mountcastle, me and him are connected for life now. The real ones know. And then, oh, wow, we've got a couple two-gamers. I screwed the pooch. White Sox, They split with me and Kelsey's Rocks. Mariners and Padres, they split in each of those. We'll get there. That's kind of what happened throughout. Your standings as they are. The New York Yankees have command over the AL East. They're 6.5 up on Toronto, 7 games up on Tampa as those teams battle out for the wild card. Cleveland Guardians have a 3-game lead after they lost last night to the White Sox. Kind of a big game, if we're being completely honest. White Sox 3-back, Minnesota 4-back. Yeesh. Houston Astros 94 wins, 50 losses, 13 games up on Seattle. As it sits today for the Stimulator, Seattle is your top wildcard team. Toronto is a half game behind them, and the Tampa Bay Rays a half game behind them. So that is going to flip-flop the rest of the way. Baltimore, 4.5 back. I don't know, babe. Trev, I'm sorry. Combining the AL and the IL, that's on me. Trying to do too much, you know?
You lost me. I'm
trying to be the slap 2-hole hitter, make the right play, Adam Eaton on the 19 Nats. And I tried to do too much. I was trying to hit the gopher ball, and that's not who I am. So I'm sorry.
You and Adam Eaton in like a Jello wrestling match would be something I'd be interested in.
Little wet dream stuff there.
Maybe.
Trev, let's start with your Guardians. It's the race in the American League. Guardians, they handle their business against the Halos. If we're being honest, because the story here is somewhat the baseball. Oscar Gonzalez, he's becoming your guy. Big, powerful man. I know the Guardians' offense, it's not a lot of name recognition, but they've been doing it pretty much all year at this point. You want to talk about the double ejection at all? Because that was electric.
We went over it a little bit. It is a Ron Culpa show type event. I don't know. Francona wanted to challenge if who was it? Who was up to bat? I forget who was up to bat. Somebody got hit with the ball or said he got hit with the ball. Francona wanted to challenge it. They didn't let him. He gets all pissed off. He gets fired up. Then I think it was Tepera that was on the mound. He wants to throw some warm-up pitches because, hey, man, they've been arguing. I'm a little cold out here. Let me throw a few warm-up pitches. Ron Culpa says no. So then freaking Nevin comes out and he gets tossed.
Yeah.
It was a master class in what not to do. As an umpire, in my opinion. Okay, look, you're there to get the calls right. So if someone says the ball hit him, just take a look at it. It's not a big deal. Don't tell me that both the batter and pitcher were engaged. Bullshit, dude. Just check. Okay? Yeah. And then if someone wants to throw a warm-up pitch, let them throw a warm-up pitch. What does that bother you? They're all going like this. Like hurry up. Dude, we're not your fucking kids on the field. Don't be clapping at me telling me to do something. That's what dads do to their children. So, yeah, dude, they got fired up. Tito was fired up. I love a fired up Tito. And then Nevin, stay fired up. That was funny, but that was more of a Culpa thing than anything else, to be honest with you.
Do you think, Jimmy, with the breakdowns, he's pretty deep into the world of the umpires, and we've known Joe West forever. He's been a figurehead of baseball. We've known Angel Hernandez forever. Is Ron Culpa has he been covered up by them? And I guess the other part of that, because we were talking about it, I think Ron Culpa's Joe West. It was the Joe West show, and we all knew that. But he was also a good umpire, and that was kind of the deal. Angel Hernandez, kind of known for being the bad umpire. Ron Kulpa, where do we stand on him? Because he definitely controls the game. It is Ron Kulpa's game when you're on the field with him. We consider him a good umpire? We consider him just kind of very controlling when he's out there? I guess where do the players kind of stand?
This is just me. The league, right. Everyone has their own opinion on umpires, but my opinion on Ron, because I have played, with him quite a bit. He's just not going to tell you that he's wrong ever. And I think that's the one thing that players really, really respect. And I think it goes both ways. If an umpire can say, hey, man, I missed that one, or hey, I screwed that one up, it goes a long way with players. They're not even going to be upset about it. I mean, like, thank you for admitting that. And it goes the other way too. If I'm arguing balls and strikes and I go back and look and I'm like, oh, actually that one clipped the corner, you bet your ass I'm going out there and saying, hey, man, I messed up. I'm sorry. I thought that thing was off. I went back and looked and it was on the plate. Like, that's the kind of relationship you need to have with umpires. And that's like, it's not that hard to do it. Some guys never want to admit they're wrong. In my experiences with Ron, that's kind of what has happened.
And it seemed like that was leaking out on the field a little bit. I mean, when you're saying no warm-up pitches, I mean, what are we really doing?
What are
we doing? Good for the Guardians. Like I mentioned, they've got 5 games with the Twins this weekend. We'll see if the Twins can make a dent. I know the White Sox are looking for it, or they can fully bury the Twins and they can almost more or less start to bury the White Sox. We will see. Good for them. And hey, if you guys are going to win the AL Central, let's finish hot and get me a little hype for the Guardians and maybe scare some of my Yankee BS talk, because I get it. It is obnoxious to be like, actually, the second seed's pretty cool, man. We're going to get the Guardians and shut up. If the Guardians win that division, they've got a lot of young talent on that team. I want to be scared of them. So whoever gets it, get hot now. Speaking of just hot the whole year, the Houston Astros sweep the Tigers. Framber, I know I gave him my award a couple episodes ago. He ties DeGrom for the single season 24th straight quality start. Think about all the stuff we say about DeGrom and how much of a freak show he is. Framber, a little different. Built a little more like a box truck and doesn't necessarily throw a 101 fastball whenever he wants. But what he's doing every start, literally every start, is insane.
Yeah, and he's not talked his way, and he's pitched his way in to the AL Cy Young race here. I mean, I think it's Verlander coming back. I think he's still a part of it in Vegas. He's the odds-on leader right now. Cease is continuing his push. I think he's second in the odds, and then Framber right there, third. I don't know if he can clip his way all the way to the front of that. I think he probably has 2 more starts left, but dude, this guy's been incredible. And it was on display. I mean, he goes complete game shutty to do it. He's not just inching into these quality starts. He's surpassing them, doing his damn thing. And that was kind of the story, the entire series here. The Astros starting pitching just did it. They got a rookie doing it. I think Javier in the last game did it.
Yeah.
They're a scary team. They're ready. They're another one of those teams that's going to be able to kind of like waltz into the playoffs, line everything up, give guys days off. Like, it's going to be, I know we've talked about it quite a bit, but I think having one of those first 2 seeds is a crazy advantage because of being able to line up your pitching and having the other guys that you're facing have to already go through their top 3 pitchers, at least their top 2.
I mean, Christian Javier. How often do we mention Christian Javier on the Astros? I mean, you can mention 12 guys before you get to Christian Javier. He is 25 years old. He's thrown 131 innings this year with 173 strikeouts and a 2.87 ERA. That's your team's number 1. And he's the bonus piece after JV and Framber and most of the guys on offense. Like, they are a factory. And I hope my Yankees get healthy and turn it on, because if we could get that Yankees-Astros CS Part 4, Part 3,
Would be their third.
and by the way, Houston, when you hear me say that, you shouldn't be scared because you guys have taken care of it. But those teams were the two powers. Astros roll over a Tigers team that has been just so underwhelming all year.
So this is the Astros, what I'm talking about, like getting ready for the postseason. They have so many starting pitchers now. Like, what are they going to do? Verlander comes back. So you go Verlander, Valdez, McCullers, Urquidy. Okay. Then you still have Javier. You have Hunter Brown, who's been electric. Like, are we going to kick both of those guys back to the bullpen and add them to the mix there? Like, there is just no shortage of pitching for this team. No shortage of offense for this team. Me and Alex Bregman, best friends now.
Yeah.
So they got that going for them.
Yeah, they got
It's a lot.
They got the Plouffe boost. Speaking of my Yankees, they go up to Fenway. Aaron Judge will be and should be part of the story the rest of the way, as he's chasing the Triple Crown and the home run record. 2 homers in that first game, both very important, by the way. And then the Yankees win the second game as well. I mean, they score 3 unearned runs in 1 inning, ball through the legs, and then they throw it around. So the Sox are not in a great place. Yankees 8-2 in their last 10. A couple of guys have come back. Rizzo and Bader. I almost called him Hater. Rizzo and Bader. We'll see if they join the team in Milwaukee. It's not looking like it. It looks like they'll be there next Tuesday, home against Pittsburgh. But the New York Yankees, after their dog days, it seems like the ship is back in the right direction. And a big chunk of that is because they're getting guys back. Stanton, and hopefully they'll have some more troops soon.
Yeah, they take care of business here. They go to Milwaukee. I thought Milwaukee was coming to them. So Judge, my God, he might hit 10 homers there. Kind of the bottom line.
Really interesting, right? We have friends in Milwaukee. I was telling them that first game, you should give up 3 homers to Judge. So he's got 58, 59, and 60. And then the next 2 games they're the biggest ticket in sports. You're going to have people flying into Milwaukee. Our friends in Milwaukee didn't necessarily agree with that strategy.
So Burns pitched. So who do they got going? Let's see.
So no Burns for the Yankees. It looks like Milwaukee is lined up Hauser, Woodruff, and Jason Alexander.
Okay, I'm calling on Judge to hit some homers this weekend. I don't think that's like a stretch of any imagination, but I loved hitting in Milwaukee, and if I liked hitting in Milwaukee, right, I'm assuming the Judge does as well. I don't really have anything else on this series. Some really bad defense by the Red Sox. Nestor does his thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of good team, bad team. And Garrett Cole struggles in Fenway. We'll put it in our rear view for this year, but I bet you it's a conversation for the next 5 years or so. So that's something. And yeah, man, Judge hit 2 homers in a game. He's got 57 on the year. They're going to Milwaukee. They're playing 3. If he hits 2 in Milwaukee, they're coming back for a homestand, and he's going to be sitting at 59 homers. Like, we're in the end game, people.
Yeah, we're in. I said I would start really paying attention to all of his at-bats when he got to like 58, 59. Because then it's 60s right there, and then the record's there, and then so this is it. This is it, people.
Like, I've been looking at the right way to tell my sweet Jessica, like, if there's a Yankee home game that Judge is swinging at next week, like, I'm gonna be there. And I don't know how to tastefully tell her that. So we'll figure that out. Little insight to my love life. The Blue Jays in the race. They had a 5-gamer. if one of these teams really did something, would we be talking about the Yankees in range? I don't know, because the Yankees do have the tiebreakers anyways. Blue Jays take 3 out of 5. This could be a potential playoff matchup, right? Because if these were the 4 and 5 teams in the wild card.
Certainly could.
Yes, that whole thing is all jumbled up. I mentioned it last episode here. Like, they're not going to know where they're going until the last day of the season. Seattle and Toronto are tied in the winning percentage column there, so they're a half game up on Tampa Bay. But I mean, they're all right there. This series did nothing to really separate anybody. Blue Jays, good job. You take 3 of 5. It seemed like a playoff series. The atmosphere was great. There were some really funny things going on. We'll talk about Cash and, the all Latin lineup that he put out there in the last game. This. I'm excited for the Central race. Okay. The AL Central race. But I think this wild card seeding is so fun because we know these teams are playoff caliber teams. We know these teams are really good. Like, there isn't anybody just sneaking into the playoffs here. Now it's all about this like seeding, and it's like there's so many storylines that you can go with. And I think any one of these matchups, whether it's Seattle versus Toronto, Seattle versus Tampa Bay, like all of these matchups with these 3 teams, they're phenomenal. Like, this is real deal, badass, fun baseball to be played because there's some really fun players on each of these teams.
B. Lau back to the IL. He's had kind of an injury-riddled year. And, yeah, with Shane McClanahan back, the Rays can hit you with Shane McClanahan, Drew Rasmussen, and Jeffrey Springs, who have all had really nice years. The Klubot is there, too. I think depending on the matchup, you see how he's employed. Like you just talked about with the seeding, I have been very Yankee selfish in trying to map out what their postseason run could be. I'll tell you what, I might be rooting for a Rays-Jays series just because, man, the Jays have so much piss and vinegar in them. These are teams that played 19 times. The teams are a fun matchup, right? It's the lineup of Toronto and those swaggy dudes versus the Rays and all their pitchers and those couple guys that if you put yourself in a bad position for a Yandy at bat, or a Wander at bat, or a Randy at bat, that they will punish you. That's what the Rays do. I think that would be a fantastic 3-game wild card, and I think I might be rooting for that now. Find out something new every day. Your guy Barrios with a big start, and Bo Bichette just continues to be unconscious.
Bo Bichette doing it. Vladdy hits his 100th career homer. Congrats on that. He's one of the youngest players to ever do that.
Coming for your crown.
I know. Everyone's hitting 100 homers now. Come on, man. Let me have some shine. Randy was running around the bases, doing his damn thing the entire time. Margot, same thing. And it is really important that they got McClanahan back. We have a note on here about Glass now. He's going to require a few more starts before he comes back up. So this could be like a first start in the playoffs type thing, which would be just electric. They're not afraid to do that. In Tampa, they don't give a shit.
They don't. Circle that as something to watch because that would be.
And people are really mad at us. We talked about the chirping between the pitching coach and the managers of each team. We said there was a bench clearing incident. People were really mad at us because I guess there wasn't really any
they didn't really
benches
get out.
Cleared. It was more the yelling that was going on. I think we were referencing a series before, but whatever. It's not a big deal. If this is a playoff series, it ain't good blood between these two teams.
Right.
If you know what I mean. I think that'll be a very fiery, fun playoff series for sure.
Your Twins sweep. I think we're going to talk about a little bit of the performances coming up. Good for them. Like I said, they somewhat stay alive for this weekend if there's ever a time to dig deep and find it. And by the way, I don't know how much of the games you want to talk about. I just think we've touched upon it, and now with Correa being as hot as he is, his OPS plus is the second best of his career behind the 2017 Astros season. I think it it means probably more for his upcoming free agency, which again is going to be a massive baseball conversation.
Don't count these Twins out
I
just
won't.
yet. Only 4 games back. Massive series this weekend. Let's just relax a little bit. But yes, he has been turning it on as of late. I think he had another homer last night. Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting deal for him. 35.1 for 3 years, opt out after each year. I think he does go out, even if he was to struggle a little bit more. If he didn't get as hot as he has been, I think he still opts out and just goes and gets the biggest paycheck. In any instance, I think he's going to be a free agent now. He's 28 still, or about to turn 28, I believe. He'll get a nice payday. But there is a lot of shortstops out there this offseason. There's 4 really, really good, talented shortstops. But I guess there's probably a bunch of teams who doesn't need a shortstop. Right. Everybody needs a fucking shortstop.
Find a place for Correa. They sweep the Royals. Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan. Teaser with some good starts.
Joe Ryan, nice start. Weird haircut. And you got a weird style. It's becoming its own thing, Joe Ryan. I think we're going to have to talk about it. We're going to hang this offseason. I know that.
Yes.
And he'll probably tell me, shut up. Let me do my
fucking
thing.
No, man, I'm good. Thanks. Thank you, media man.
Trevor, you've looked the same since 2015. Change your haircut.
Oh, you played for the Twins. Cool, man. Do you know Jamie Carroll? A's,
man.
A's Rangers. I don't know, guys. I love you. Big off seasons both ways. Interleague O's and Nats. O's win 2. Mountcastle homers off.
They're staying in.
He homers off of his best friend and former teammate Hunter Harvey. Dude was in his wedding. That's always fun. We know Mountcastle is my guy. I might be at his wedding at this pace. Yeah, I guess, 4.5. Orioles, talk about life support. But they just got to keep winning games. So keep winning games. Orioles, Gunnar Henderson doing something. Well, actually, Cesar Hernandez actually helped out a lot on that play. Patrick Corbin with a nice start. We love that for him as his numbers are in a scary place. Padres-Mariners, Yu Darvish drops it on them, and then the Mariners come back and Castillo drops it on them, along with Eugenio Suarez 2-run homer in the first inning.
I know.
It's interesting.
And Julio, I think, hit the first pitch of his at bat, first pitch of, well, not the game, but first pitch of their game for a homer, because he's a stud.
Yeah, he's at 26 homers and 25 steals. I put that on try to put that on everyone's radar. Keep an eye on that. 25 and 25 itself is just absolutely nutty. As those teams split too, and I think this is part of the reason I hate the 2-game interleague series. I think both of these teams are fine with that. They're both in survival mode, interleague game, whatever. And White Sox and Rockies, they do the same. If you're the White Sox, you really can't afford to be dropping any games, but they split 2 with the Rocks. Kyle Freeland gave them the business. 6.2 shutty from my guy. He's got the mountains tatted on him. And Eloy with a big homer in the first game. So that's kind of wrapping up an interleague. If there's anything you wanna throw on the Flames, Trev.
White Sox, they're not in this series recap, but they did beat the Guardians in the 1-game makeups they had. So that's great. They gained a game there. Tim Anderson has resumed his baseball activities. He can return as soon as next week. Could be the boost the Sox need. I'm rooting for him, man, because I can't look that foolish. I just can't.
Yeah.
I do, Jake.
Yes.
I have to go.
Right.
So do you want me to give my award and my standout?
Yeah, let me set it up with Roback. The people probably know Roback by this point. If not from us, we have a John Boy Media friend whose name rhymes with Nicky Ass. Big Roback guy. And the Roback polos, they're awesome. I think I'm going to wear... I have a Roback polo that is in the rotation, and now I get excited on the days that I'm going to wear it. their performance polos. They have the coolest designs, but they also have the moisture wicking material. A Saturday afternoon game in the bleachers, rocking a rowback, maybe a drink. With shorts dropping this week, why don't you go to rowback.com and use code Talkin for 20% off your first order? That's spelled rowback, RHOBACK.com for 20% off all performance polos, Q-zips, tees, and hoodies. Ooh, Q-zip season with code Talkin. That's right. Go check out rowback.com, code Talkin, 20% off the order. There's a link in the description. They are great. So that sets us up for the Trevor Plouffe segment of the show. We're going
stand-up performances first. First of all, Robeck, send me some shorts, okay? I need shorts.
Done.
I like black shorts. Anyways, standout performance.
Standout performances.
You know who I'm going with.
Yeah.
Joe Ryan, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, and oh yeah, no freaking hits.
Yeah.
Had to get pulled out of the game because of pitch count. It was the right call. He had a lot. I think he had I should probably just have this stat, but I looked it up before 2 days ago. He had something like 24 or 32.
Sure. Great.
He had a lot of foul balls against him. Okay, so they extended the pitch count. That's why he couldn't get through it. But snaps for him, man. I keep saying, Twins haven't had an ace, and a lot of people have been saying this since Johan Santana. Now, is Joe Ryan the ace that we've been promised? I don't know, man. He could be. I like the way he throws the ball. I like the moxie that he has. We need some of that. The hair is getting a little interesting. The mustache is a little interesting. But I like watching Joe Ryan pitch, and it was an excellent outing for him. Again, 7 innings pitched, no hits. They do end up giving up a hit. I think it was with 1 or 2 outs in the 9th. Bobby Witt Jr. got it.
Joe Ryan ain't scared, man. He throws his fastball 60% of the time. It sits at 92, which in today's baseball doesn't move the needle for you, but it's got a little funk to it. It's got a little rise that it is a tough pitch to barrel up. And yeah, man, kudos to him and the Twins. You know, they made the trade for him. He was in the Nelson Cruz trade, which was like a rental for the Rays. And the Twins may have found a front of the line starting pitcher for the next half a decade. Love the makeup of him. He's a stud. Little 7 innings, no hit.
Love it.
You want to do your
I have
award?
to.
Okay, let's do it.
Hit it, BBD. Hit it.
Hit it, BBD.
Awards!
What's up, Cals? All right. My award is called Kevin Cash's Poker Game. Now, people don't know I was a Tampa Bay Ray briefly. Half a season there. Evan Longoria's backup, if you will. But I got to know Cash pretty well because on the plains, he loves to play cards with the boys. You know I like to play cards as well. Our game meant so much to Cash, he'd threaten me in my playing time if I didn't play cards. That's the kind of guy he is. Okay? But a lot of the times I felt like, man, you just love the action because you don't even know what you're doing. And he'd play well, but I'd be like, do you even know what kind of hand you have, bro? He'd just flop his cards over and be like, oh, I guess I won. That really happened a few different times. Now, this kind of happened in a historical moment for Cash. Now, we know Roberto Clemente Day was yesterday, and we had, for the first ever time, which is shocking to me, the first ever time we had a lineup exclusively filled out with players from Latin America. All of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. And it happened to be on a day where they're all wearing number 21 on Roberto Clemente Day. So we're applauding the Rays for doing this. It's great for baseball. I talk about how I love Latin dudes all the time on this show because their stories are incredible. The things they have to go through to even just get over here, leaving their families, the shit that goes on in their countries with professional baseball at an early age. Some of it's appalling and needs to get fixed. There is some corrupt stuff going down there. There's a lot of beautiful stuff too. These guys love the game of baseball. And the transition, coming and leaving your home country, going somewhere else to play, is difficult. I don't care what you say. Like, these dudes have it tough. They have to learn a new language, be uncomfortable, eat different foods all the time. I mean, shoot, I went to a trip in Italy and it was awesome. And I'm eating some of the best food in the world, but I got sick of Italian food. I wanted something from home, dude. Like, these guys have to deal with that a lot. Okay. Lots of things they have to deal with. I love my Latin brothers. The funny thing about this whole thing, the Reyes, the whole Latin lineup on Roberto Clemente Day, was that it was an accident. Cash didn't even know that he did it. I guess someone told him in the middle of the game, like, hey, bro, like, you just made history with this lineup. The players didn't even know they did it. And the reason that Cash did it, and I love this because they're the Rays, it was just they're trying to get an advantage. Hey, Gossman, nasty splitter, good against lefties. Let's stack them. Let's stack the lineup with righties. And it just so happens that the only two position players that aren't from Latin America on the Rays are Taylor Walls, who's a switch hitter, and Choi, who's a lefty. So sit your ass down. Let's play everybody else. And they did it, and it looked awesome. But again, I thought it was just hilarious because Cash has no idea. And in the history books, when we talk about this day, they're not going to mention that Cash had no idea. They're gonna praise Kevin Cash for saying, great job right there. What timing you had. That was so awesome. And sometimes things just work out, and they did for Kev there. I love it. And I'll add this before I go. It's a lot of weird things going on with number 21. If you ever won the Roberto Clemente Award, you can wear number 21. If you're a nominee this year, you can wear number 21. If you're from Puerto Rico, you can wear number 21. A lot of Latin guys had to ask to wear 21 because Roberto Clemente is a figure for all Latin American countries, not just Puerto Rico. We need to just get it to the point where everybody's wearing 21. That's the bottom line. Like, it has to happen. Everybody in the big leagues wants it to happen. I believe it will eventually end up happening, but let's just get there quicker, people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and that's it. That's my Kevin Cash poker game award.
I mean, Trev, like you're saying, I mean, low-key hilarious that this is how it happened, but sometimes that's how life works, right? And they're all wearing 21, and yeah, Clemente Day, that should happen, and maybe they retire it out like they did with 42, and those remaining guys can wear it out, but why not? And like you're saying, not just the Puerto Rican players, but anyone from Latin America. I mean, this is their guy. And by the way, we tell you to go check out a Baseball Reference page here and there. You might like his. For some of the kids that are in the war, 95, 3,000 hits, a 317 batting average lifetime, with 12 gold gloves. The guy was special. Trev, we're sending you out. Baseball Today time. Might have already left. I don't have him on the screen anymore. So there's the ghost of Jimmy.
Wow.
So what? That's how you make an exit, people. Trevor, thank him for jumping on early for Baseball Today. I will start to wrap this up with everything else on the show. I will give out my standout. I will give out my final award. We got King Beebs. Let's finish strong and get to the stimulator to finish out the weekend. My standout performance was Clayton Kershaw. Heard of him? New guy in the league?
Familiar.
Clayton Kershaw goes 7 innings shut. By the way, 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs against my D-backs. The Dodgers, part of the reason, and we've done this a few times, so I won't give the full spiel, but the Mets, they have Scherzer and DeGrom. Like, that's really sexy. The Braves, defending champs, blah, blah, blah. Dodgers just dominate their division, and their pitching doesn't seem as sexy as it used to be. Clayton Kershaw did this last year, have done this the past few years. I'm rooting on him to go on a playoff FU tour, and guess what? He can, because he has a 2.44 ERA on the year. He has an argument for the best starting pitcher of our generation. Go look at his Baseball Reference page after Clemente's, 3-time Cy Young, 5-time ERA. title. Clayton Kershaw did it again. There was another athlete I was going to compare him to who was someone that I thought was kind of the best, but doesn't get the respect that they're deserving. I don't know. I'm blanking right now. It was a good one.
In baseball? Other sport?
Maybe Aaron Rodgers? Is that a weird comp? They each only have one title. Some people regard them as good, but also, I don't know. Got weird at the end. So Clayton Kershaw is my standout performer. BBD, let's bring it to Slump Watch and then the fun thing that comes after Slump Watch. A Fuego. Beebs, I don't know if you or I have the street cred to give these guys hype speeches, but Christian Walker goes 0 for 12 for my Snakes. He's had a really nice year. I think he's got 30 dongs. Love that. Get out of the slump. Let's get...
Finish it strong, kid.
Easily. Brandon Nimmo, 0 for 11. Former All-JM Daisy guy. Clean that up, dude. Mets need you now more than ever. Kevin Biggio, I know he was working his way back into some Blue Jays playing time. 0 for 11. Josh Naylor, a little 0 for 10 in that 2-gamer plus the 1 versus the White Sox. We know he can be the pulse of that Guardians team, and he's had a great year. He's got to finish strong. Wilmer Flores just got a little extension. Baseball reference page, a little different than Clayton and Clemente's, but still fun if you're a baseball nerd like me. 0 for 9, 5Ks. Tighten it up. BBD, let's do the fun stuff now.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Mark Mathias? I'm going to double check I'm saying that name right.
I think you've got it.
Okay, so we're hitting thigh. Yes, we are hitting the thigh hard in that. How's your walk-off? How's 5 for 10 with 3 homers? Patton leadoff in Fuego with Carlos Correa behind you. Also 500, 2 homers, doubles.
He's approaching that homer over-under number.
Yeah, he's going to make that close. Aaron Judge, 500 with 2 homers. A little bit of a theme. He's chasing the home run record. Marcus Semien, my God. After his slow start, he has been nuts. That's got to have Texas fans excited for next year, along with Adolis Garcia. 5 for 13, homer, triple, bunch of doubles. Key Brian Hayes, you know him for the glove, but he goes 7 for 14. Homer, some extra base hits. Dermis Garcia, when that guy puts a charge into one, it goes, and he had 2 homers. Oscar Gonzalez with 2 homers of his own. And Gio the God, Gio Urshela, 5 for 8, home run, 2 RBI, and a walk.
That Pirates game was on. I saw one of the Brian Hayes doubles the other way, and I liked it.
Yeah, man. It
all looks right with him.
Yeah, I don't know where the power numbers end up getting, but he can hit a baseball.
Seems like, and sometimes that's the last thing to fully come into the picture.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Every time I've watched that guy, it all looks right.
It's a good way to put it. And another good place to put it is DraftKings. NFL opening weekend was action-packed, and it's just getting started. Get ready for week 2 of touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins at the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly. Want more action? They've got their new early win promotion. If the team you bet on goes up 10 at any point, you're good. The bet wins. I know it saved some butts. I think it happened last night. I think if you bet San Diego, or LA now, excuse me, they were up. You win your bet, even though they ended up getting beat up by KC. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code JOHNBOY only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Trev gave his award to Cash in the Rays. I will be giving out my award to lead us into the Stimulator and Best Friend of the Week. I am giving out the Franmil Reyes Body Award. Very prestigious. Franmil Reyes is, as a lot of you probably know, he went to the Cubs. This is a personal story that I've told on here briefly before. When I lived in Colorado, one day I had a little bit of the devil's lettuce and went to a Rockies game by myself. I think I'd just gotten fired from my previous job. I got walked up to some pretty decent seats because it was a Rockies day game, and they're against the Padres when both teams were bad. Pretty close to the visitors' dugout. Franmil Reyes is huge. Absolutely massive. I mean, for a position player, only a few guys are really in that realm. Judge, I guess Casas, the kid they just called up for Boston, that's a big boy.
He plays big. Giancarlo.
There's a lot of talk about, and we jokingly do it. Me and John Boy, some quick John Boy media plugs. We did some S-tier lists, a tier list. You should go check those out. You might love it. It might frustrate you. We make some jokes about being big haul or small haul guys, and we have all sorts of Hall of Fame, as my Midwest coming out, discussions on here. We talked about it mid-ep. Yadier Molina and Wayno. 325 starts together. Wainwright, 387 games started, 325 with Yachty. He's got a career 335. He's got a 329 this year and 29 starts. The guy is still shoving and dropping yackers on people. I think for pitchers, he's a little outside of the Hall of Fame. No Cy Youngs, 3-time All-Star. Wayno, interesting case. Yadier Molina, the other guy on the other side of the battery. And this isn't playing favorites or picking your children, and maybe I'm going to walk all over myself a little bit. Look at Yadier Molina's career and how long he's been behind the dish, from age 21 to age 39 now. I know the stats this year are tough. You can chop off, the best 10 years of his career. He couldn't really hit at first. He kind of learned and taught himself, which guys don't do in baseball a lot. He became a really good contact hitter. For a decade, he was 290, 341, a 763 OPS from the catching position, which is really nice. Also, I think 7 out of those 10 years, or 8 out of 10, he won the Gold Glove. And guess what? It passes the eye test. And like we talked about, go check out the one where he throws out Colton Wong. It almost looks too easy. It looks like a video game. It looks like a video game opening highlight reel. Like when you start playing the video game and it just shows you some clips and videos. It looks too easy. I have Yachty as a Hall of Famer for what he's done behind the dish. 10-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glove, 4-time Platinum Glove behind the plate. For him to be, I know Wayno throwing 325 is impressive. I think being back there for 325 is just a little more impressive. Again, not to be shots fired at Wayno. I'm a Yachty guy. The guy is 40 now. I think he deserves all the love in the world. And again, those Cardinals, they took over the Central. And, by the way, in those postseason games, get ready to get emotional with him, Wayno, and Big Albert. Because, this might be the final rodeo. This might be it. So yeah, I'm sorry that I had to link that to Franmil's body, but
yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, it was just.
I'm still kind of curious.
I am too. I guess I in my head it was the whole thing about being a big haul or a small haul guy, because that's kind of the Yachty argument. Yadier Molina's knees should be in the Hall of Fame. Like
they're legendary.
His, Hall of Fame, sometimes we come down to stats too much. Just the fact that he's been back there for all this is Looney Tunes. Still pegging dudes out at second base. Babes, that was a weird one. Give us the best friend, and let's stimulate this.
Our best friend of this week. It's our guy, Gibby. 6 innings, 1 earned, 7 Ks in his outing. No walks. Somehow only his second of the year.
Wow.
I know what the numbers look like. I really thought he'd landed on this list a couple times. But, yeah, unfortunately, no 10-game streak in all those Phillies winning streaks they've had. Otherwise, we'd be getting a cool picture. But
Damn. Now, BBD, depending on how we look at this, congrats, Gibby. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stimulators left, or 3. We're going to have to check in with ourselves on that. But with that being said,
wow.
let's stimulate ourselves into the weekend. In the American League, as of today, the Guardians would host the Reyes for 3 games.
Cleveland.
Guardians move on to face the Yankees. The Mariners would face the Blue Jays. Aesthetically pleasing.
Seattle.
Seattle moves on to face the Houston Astros. They're division rivals to a degree. Astros-Mariners.
Astros.
Yeah. Man, they're good. Yankees and the Guardians. These teams have some playoff history in the past 5 years.
And the Yankees have a history of moving on past them to face the Astros.
They sure do. Our Yankees-Astros. We actually haven't seen that in a while on the stimulator. In the National League, the Cardinals would host the Padres.
Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about it. Padres are kind of limping in right now.
A little mid.
Braves would host the Phillies.
The Braves.
Yeah, it is. But man, that would be some intense high-level baseball. Mets, Cardinals, Beltron.
Cardinals.
Whoa! Sorry, New York. St. Louis has the magic in me. B.O.B. Dodgers, Braves.
The Braves.
The Braves beat the Dodgers. Whoa! Okay, the NL's getting wonky now. We've seen that Braves-Dodgers matchup a few times now. I wonder if that'll continue. So let's see our World Series teams. The CS on the NL. Cardinals. Braves.
It's the Cardinals.
Shout out to St. Lou, Nelly, and the Lunatics. The Cardinals are trying to make a hell of a DVD. Yankees, Astros.
It's Houston.
I think it is Houston. As of right now, it's the stimulator. The Houston Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals to send everyone into the weekend.
I'm looking. It's the Astros.
The Houston Astros have just won the 2022 World Series. Sorry, St. Louis. Hell of a ride.
Our friend Alex Bregman.
Speaking of a hell of a ride, if you're a boxing person, we've got a big stream going on with Dan Canobio, John Boy Boxing YouTube, Canelo Triple G. Otherwise, Jake sucks. Enjoy your weekend. 8 p.m. tomorrow for the boxing folk. Man, enjoy your weekend. 3 weeks. 3.5 weeks. Regular season is over. Love you guys. We will be back here on Monday. You guys are the best.